Hi everybody, my name is Heather and I am an NT in a very happy relationship dating an Asperger's man. I am making these videos to share my experiences, to maybe help and inspire the other people out there who are in my position, who are maybe struggling to understand or to connect or to understand if their partner, their Aspie partner, is normal, if they're experiencing the same thing as someone else. So all I can tell you is my experience. And today's topic I wanted to talk about was text messaging and phone communication. If you're anything like me and my man, we do not live together. We live a little over an hour away from each other, so therefore we do not see each other every day. So that means that half of our relationship, when we're not together, is solely on phones and texts. And for somebody on the autistic spectrum, that is really, really tough. Especially when you have somebody that is autistic and they're not a phone person. And I'm not sure, I can't speak for other people who are autistic, but I know for my man, he is not a phone person. I mean, when we first met and he was texting me 3 random texts a day, it was really non-important texts. He felt like he was texting me all the time. And my version was I hardly heard from him until I got these random "what are you doing" texts. They lasted like 5 or 10 minute conversations and they were done. To this day, in a committed relationship, we text throughout the day. We text good morning. He almost always will text me as soon as he gets up. We text a little bit throughout the day, but there is many times he will get distracted and I will sometimes not hear from him for 5 hours, 6 hours. He's getting a little better at this. He knows this really bothers me, so he's being really considerate and he's trying to be better at that, because he gets really focused on what he's doing, what he's thinking of. If he's working, he's thinking of work. If he's doing something else, he's thinking of that. He's not thinking of me. He's not thinking of how long has it been since I've texted my girlfriend. That isn't running through his mind, And being the person who is in that relationship, who is the NT, that can be really challenging and it can be really, really hard. I, for instance, have an anxious attachment style, so therefore I'm kind of clingy. I need the extra reassurance. I need the extra attention. I need the extra reminders that he still cares about me. And so when I don't hear from him for hours and hours sometimes, it can feel really hard. It can feel really painful. And in my mind, I sometimes think, oh my gosh, he must not love me. Oh my gosh, I must not matter as much to him as he means to me. But something that I have to remember, something that I have to remind myself often, and this is something I'm learning the longer that we're together, the more that I'm getting to know him, is that his mind works differently than I. I can think of him all day long. I can think of him constantly, and he can't. It's not the way he works. But doesn't mean that he doesn't love me. Doesn't mean that he doesn't care about me. Doesn't mean that I don't cross his mind sometimes. Maybe I cross his mind a little bit here and there, but maybe it's not as long as I think about him, And I have to just constantly remind myself and reassure myself, I have to kind of reassure myself in this relationship that just because I don't hear from him does not mean X, Y, and Z that my brain is trying to tell me, And for someone in the position of me who is dating somebody on the spectrum, and you're the one being ignored, and you're the one who feels forgotten, and you're the one that feels unimportant, I can very clearly see how this can make people break up, how this can make people walk away, how this can make people say, dude, I need more than this from a relationship, And I get it. I understand. I totally understand. I tell him that as soon as time permits that we are able to move in together, I want to move in together or break up, because I can't handle the distance. I can't handle the silence. It drives me crazy. And so if you're someone who feels crazy and you feel like your autistic partner doesn't love you, you're not alone. Trust me, you're not alone. But I have to remind myself his brain is different. And I have to reassure myself that when we're together, you know, it's a different story. I see the love in his eyes. I see the way he treats me. I see the way he takes care of me. I see the way he's always thinking of me first. I see the way he's always putting me before other people. I see the way he shows me off when we go places, and he puts his arm around me so protectively, like everybody in the room knows that we're together. He doesn't hide me. He holds my hand even through the store. He's holding my hand, lacing my fingers together with his, and we're like pushing the cart with one hand because he wants to be connected to me all the time, you know? A man or woman that doesn't love you, that doesn't care about you, won't do all that. So I have to remind myself that when it's quiet, we don't hear from him, there will be a time soon I will get to see him again. I will get to be in his arms, and everything will be okay, and the world will be okay again. So if you're in this situation, no, you're not alone. Leave me a comment. I would love to know how many other people out there are in this position that I'm in. And it's definitely normal, I think, that this is just the way that they work. This is the way that they think. And they aren't people that are Aspies or on the Aspergers syndrome. Just are not necessarily wired. And I mean, I could be wrong. People could be different. But I'm assuming that this is an Asperger's thing, that his short attention span is based on what he's looking at, what he's focused on, what's in front of him, and that is where it's coming from, because the other people I've dated and knew weren't like this, you know? So anyways, I just wanted to post this quick video. I wanted to address this scenario. I want you to know that this is normal, you know? For instance, let's talk about phone conversations, okay? We've been together for quite a while now, so phone conversations don't last 6 hours anymore, you know. He doesn't say I love you. I've never heard those words from him. That's not something he's comfortable with. That's something I will talk about more in another topic. But anyways, you know, phone conversations are hard. They're not emotional. He doesn't really hardly ever say he misses me. In fact, he never said he misses me until we had a fight about it, and I was crying, and I said, look, I miss you all the time. I feel like you don't care about me, you know. I care more than you do in this relationship, and this is crap, basically. And he started to pick up on the fact that this was really important to me. And I mean, I would even text him throughout the day and say, hey, I miss you, and it would be silent, like nothing from him. He would not respond. And I asked him one time, I'm like, why don't you respond? Like when you don't respond to me texting you that I miss you, it makes me feel like you don't miss me, that you never even think of me, you know? And he said, well, yeah, I miss you. I said, well, how come you don't respond to me when I text you that? You know what he says? He says, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. He has no words to say. And I mean, I went through many periods that very much insulted me, and I was hurt, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But it's a learning thing. He doesn't feel things the same way as I do. He doesn't think of things the same way as I do. And part of that might be because he's a man, and part of it might be because he's got Asperger's. But he's learning that I need to hear those words. And now we have reached the level where if I say I miss you, he will say I miss you too, or me too. Don't always get the miss you in there, but that's just the way it is. But, you know, I have to remind myself, when we're together, when I'm in his arms, all of that disappears. Every little tear I cried, every bit of doubt, and you know, it all goes out the window. And the man that I fell in love with is there like he always was. He hasn't gone anywhere. It's my perspective that had to change. It's my viewpoint that had to change, because once I changed, my expectations, once I changed what I expected from him and quit putting him in this box of, well, all of these other guys did X, so therefore, if you loved me, you'll do X. But see, what you have to remember is he's not like all the other guys. He can't be X if he's Y, you know? If he's a completely different variable from a different planet, no pun intended, I can't expect him to be something he's not. I can't expect him to do something and act a certain way that he's not. And I am having to change my expectations in order to allow him to be himself, to allow him to show me and express to me his feelings and his love in his own way. And part of that is trying to drop the expectation of the I love you word, which again I will address in its own video. I'm not going to talk too much about that right now, but this whole video is supposed to be about phone and text communication. So when you're not with your loved one and you have to rely on the phone, this is normal. He doesn't want a video chat. He doesn't want to be intimate on the phone. He doesn't breathe, this emotional, oh my gosh, I can't live without you, kind of words. And I know that there might be some Aspies out there who are the opposite and who maybe that's very easy for them to say. But for mine, it's not. Those are words he can't say. Those are things that he can't express, at least not yet, not now. And this is what I'm dealing with. This is what my life is. And I wanted to shout out to all the people who were in my shoes and say, you're not alone. Drop me a comment. And I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to hear your experiences. And if any of this hit home, if any of this touched you or inspired you in any way, please click the subscribe button. I would love to have you join. This is a new channel, and I would love to be an inspiration to the people out there who are also walking the same path as I. Have a great day.